Erwin Schrödinger and the Tooth Fairy. Erwin Rudolf Joseph Alexander Schrödinger, 1887 to 1961, was an Austrian theoretical physicist. His area of expertise was quantum physics, especially the Schrödinger equation, for which he received the Nobel Prize in 1933. Quantum physics hypothesizes a realm of quanta that cannot ever be perceived with our five senses, but whose effects were once described as spooky action at a distance by Einstein. Dark energy. Around 95% of all that exists is dark. That is, cannot be perceived with our five senses. It is dark for us, but not necessarily other creatures. Although physicists make a distinction between dark matter and dark energy, philosophers and metaphysicists don't. Instead, metaphysicians and philosophers first ask, is the energy organized, ordered? And if the answer is yes, it is called spirit. If it is not organized, the term used is chaos, from Greek Platonic thought. Chaos is not chaos, but a strange, deep purple, black stillness. The ordered energy, which is actually capable of being perceived by our five senses, is then like the very thin shell of an egg, while all the rest, the white and yolk, are dark, meaning visible to us. See a video on reality. And so by this process we obtain the cosmic egg, an ancient concept which symbolically describes our universe. The very thin shell, the bit we can perceive with our five senses, which is only 5% of the total, and all the different invisible layers, symbolically water, air, fire and ether. If we now divide the egg into segments, we find every visible thing in the shell has a symbolic cone of energy, with each cone pointing towards the centre of the egg. Homing in on a cone, the top of the cone of energy in the ether level is itself a little cone. A symbol we celebrate using party hats and witches' hats, though this one is a bit over the top. Although Noddy has a slightly droopy hat, the bell rather indicates he was an enlightened being. Metaphysically, we can thus view the universe as a cosmic egg filled by 95% invisible, dark, ordered or unordered energy with a 5% perceivable energy shell, where every single thing is a cone of energy with the higher self, invisible, dark, and at the top of the cone and in the centre of the egg. Cheshire cats, teeth, and tooth fairies. Lewis Carroll invented the character of the Cheshire cat to provide a symbolic character capable of being used to demonstrate the idea of cones around a central hole. The mouth of a cat has, particularly a yawning cat, loads of sharp, conical teeth surrounding the gaping hole of its mouth. A cat has one of the few mouths which, when opened wide, appears to be egg-shaped and filled with conical teeth. Cannell had very ingeniously extended the symbolism of the tooth by using a cat instead of a tooth fairy. The universe actually looks symbolically like a great mouth with a vast number of little teeth, the cones, all round the rim, connected to the central ether level. Symbolically, the removal of a tooth thus indicates death, the removal of a cone. Tooth Fairy symbolically compensates the owner of the cone by giving them a present. And she is, of course, the same fairy found at the top of the Christmas tree cone. Although the Christmas tree cone is sometimes shown with a star on the top rather than a fairy, you symbolically ascend via the tinsel path until you reach your higher spirit. So, how does Schrödinger fit into this? Dark energy equals quantum layer, and spirit equals ordered dark energy. Schrödinger knew this. And if you visualize the universe as a cosmic egg with all its higher spirits, symbolic stars clustered into the center, there is no distance. Everything happens instantaneously, as they are all, in some senses, one, the yolk of the egg. There is actually no spooky action at a distance, because there is no distance. And all the cones are simply projections into the realm of matter. Like the beams from a film projector onto a screen, or the spotlight from an overhead helicopter. The difference being the spotlight illuminates, whereas the projector projects the image and is thus analogously more accurate. Each entity has a centre of consciousness which projects this beam, and it can control what appearance it projects, which explains the phenomenon of shape-shifting, to bird women, sirens, cat women, lizard people, harpies, mermaids and mermen, satyrs, centaurs, and more. By location, a very advanced higher spirit can duplicate itself, and Schrödinger even explained how duplication of systems was possible. Fast travelling. The phenomenon of very fast travelling is sometimes called 3-mile boots or giant strides. Remote viewing, where the coordinates in the matrix can be used to find someone or something. These are Fabergé eggs. And where the higher spirits know the coordinates because they are all together in the palace. After death communication, the higher spirit may manufacture a familiar image in order to reappear as a ghost. This may be insubstantial or quite substantial. Automatic writing, as any higher spirit can communicate with any other higher spirit, living or dead, to obtain input. Reporting. In projecting, the higher spirit may send the wrong thing, or get the projection wrong, or someone may simply witness the process of projection. We are essentially puppets. being manipulated by an invisible puppeteer, through which any number of supernatural feats may be possible, as long as we relinquish ourselves to the puppeteer. A last thought from Einstein. Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited to all we now know and understand, while imagination embraces the entire world and all there ever will be to know and understand. A sense of humour helps too. After all, Satan fell by the force of his own gravity.